you're focused on and see what spirit wants to reveal today. As always, keep what resonates with your heart and release anything that isn't meant for you. All right, Pisces, let's get into your reading. So, the message that I have for you today is this, and I need you to pay very close attention here. There is a shift taking place right now, and it involves this person making a move back toward you directly. The no contact phase, the quiet stretch, the gap that sat between you, all of it is reaching its expiration. This person has been sitting with their thoughts for far too long, and the pressure of that silence finally cracked. They are getting ready to show up, to reach out, to break through the wall that separated you from them. The message today is urgent, it is immediate, and the cards are backing every single piece of it without hesitation. Let us go ahead and get into it because what is coming through the cards matches this energy completely. The first card we have for you is the Page of Swords, and this one cuts right to the point immediately. The Page of Swords represents a message incoming, a conversation being planned, and words that are ready to be delivered. This person has already drafted what they want to tell you, maybe not on paper, but inside their head repeatedly. They have been rehearsing, choosing phrases, rethinking their approach, and now the preparation stage is nearly finished for them. The Page of Swords does not show up unless communication is imminent, and right now, that communication is aimed at you. What makes this card so specific is that it carries intention behind the words, not casual small talk or surface chatter. This person wants a real exchange. They want substance, and they are gathering the courage to initiate it on their terms. What this card confirms is that a direct message, a call, or an unexpected appearance is being actively set into motion. Their mind has been spinning around you, organizing thoughts they kept bottled, and now those thoughts demand to be released. You are about to hear from this person in a way that catches you off guard, and it carries serious weight. The urgency behind their words will surprise you because they have been holding it back for longer than you realize. The next card coming through is the Three of Wands, and this one reveals that they already see you in their plans. The Three of Wands speaks of looking ahead, of watching the horizon, and of waiting for the right moment to act. This person has not been ignoring you during the silence. They have been strategizing their return with careful precision. They stood at a distance, observed the situation, and now they are confident enough to close that distance permanently. What the Three of Wands exposes is that their absence was never abandonment. It was recalibration before a deliberate re-entry. They needed perspective and they got it. And what that perspective showed them is that walking away was never an option. This card confirms that their next move is calculated, purposeful, and driven by a vision that places you at the center. They are not returning out of boredom or loneliness. They are returning because the distance proved what they already suspected. The Three of Wands validates that they mapped out their approach, and the timing they chose is deliberate and intentional. Their return is not impulsive. It is the result of weeks spent realizing that no alternative compares to what you offer. Everything about their reappearance has been thought through, and when it happens, you will sense the intention behind it clearly. They are walking back toward you with a clarity they did not possess before, and that difference will be noticeable. Then we have the Knight of Cups, and this card seals the entire message with emotional sincerity and romantic pursuit. The Knight of Cups arrives with an offer, a gesture, or a declaration that comes wrapped in vulnerability and raw honesty. This person is not just coming back to talk, they are coming back to express feelings they previously kept locked away. Their approach will feel different from anything before because this time they are leading with their heart and nothing else. The Knight of Cups confirms that what they bring to you is genuine, emotionally charged, and impossible to fake or manufacture. They want to be seen by you again, to sit across from you, to say the things that silence stole from them. Every card in this opening confirms the same truth. This person is ending the quiet and preparing to reach you soon. The message is clear, the timing is now, and the energy surrounding this reunion is already building toward its peak moment. Okay, let us shift the focus entirely onto you now, because your side of this story deserves its own spotlight. You have been living inside a tension you rarely name, a constant pull between waiting and wanting to let go. The silence did not leave you untouched. It carved something open in you that still has not fully closed yet. You handled it with more composure than most would, but underneath that stillness, your emotions have been running nonstop. There are thoughts you recycled 100 times over, questions you asked the ceiling at night with no answer coming. You wondered if holding on made you foolish, or if walking away would be the thing you regretted most. Let us see what the cards have picked up about where you stand internally, because they are reading you clearly. So, the first card for you is the Ace of Cups, and this one opens a window right into your emotional core. The Ace of Cups holds a wellspring of feeling, a reservoir of love that you never drained despite every reason to. Your capacity to care through distance and confusion is extraordinary, and this card reflects that back to you without apology. Even when the situation gave you nothing to hold on to, you kept pouring from a place most would have sealed shut. That willingness to remain emotionally available through the worst of it reveals a depth of character that is uncommon. A renewal is also stirring inside you, a sense that something is about to bloom after a long emotional drought. You can feel it already, that faint hum beneath your ribs that says the waiting period is approaching its final stretch. Your emotions are not exhausted, they are primed, and the Ace of Cups validates that your heart is still wide open. You did not harden during the silence. You softened in places that matter, and that transformation happened without you noticing. The Ace of Cups confirms that your emotional tank is full, overflowing even, and prepared for whatever comes through next. The next card here is the High Priestess, and this one taps into the intuitive side of what you have been feeling. The High Priestess governs inner knowing, gut instinct, and the silent confidence that comes from trusting what you cannot prove. You already sensed the shift before anyone confirmed it. You felt the energy changing before any sign appeared externally. That quiet knowing is not coincidence. It is your intuition operating at a level most would dismiss or second guess entirely. What the High Priestess reveals is powerful. Your subconscious has been processing this situation far more accurately than your mind. You dreamed about it, felt random waves of emotion tied to this connection, and none of that was accidental or imagined. Your body registered the truth before your brain caught up, and that is exactly what the High Priestess validates here. You have been receiving signals you could not explain, and instead of ignoring them, you sat with them and listened. Your inner compass has been pointing in the right direction, and the High Priestess confirms it has never wavered once. Trusting yourself through the uncertainty was not naive. It was the most spiritually aligned choice you could have made then. Your patience was not passive, it was deliberate, rooted in a belief that what is meant for you cannot pass you. Then we have the Six of Wands, and this card reflects something important about the emotional victory forming inside you now. The Six of Wands carries triumph, recognition, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing you endured something most would have abandoned. You survived a season that tested every ounce of your resolve, and you came through it still standing and still caring. That is not weakness. That is a victory the world may not applaud, but your spirit already knows it won completely. This card tells me you are stepping into a version of yourself that is stronger, clearer, and more grounded than before. This card validates that the hardest part is behind you, and what remains ahead rewards the resilience you showed throughout. You are not the same person who entered this silence. You are sharper, clearer, and more certain of what you deserve. Your emotional posture right now is one of earned confidence, and the Six of Wands confirms that undeniable inner strength. Everything you weathered brought you to this exact point, and these cards reflect a person who is ready for what arrives. Now let us step into their world entirely, because what is going on inside this person is far more intense than they show. They have been carrying a war between their pride and their need for you, and that war has left marks. The silence was never comfortable for them. It was a cage they built around themselves and then hated living in. Every day that passed without contact added weight, pressing down on something they were already struggling to hold together. This person did not go quiet because they stopped caring. They went quiet because they cared too much to risk it. Their absence was a defense mechanism, and behind that wall, they have been falling apart more than they will ever admit. Come in close, because the cards are pulling back the curtain on what truly sits inside their chest right now. So the first card for them is the Five of Cups, and this one exposes the grief they have been swallowing. The Five of Cups reveals regret, a heaviness that comes from knowing they let something precious slip through their fingers. This person looks at the distance between you and feels a sting of loss that sharpens with every passing week. They mourn the connection in private, replaying moments they wish they handled differently, conversations they wish they never ended. What the Five of Cups uncovers is a person stuck in a loop of self-blame, punishing themselves for the silence they chose. They know they created this gap, and that awareness eats at them in ways they disguise with composure and routine. Behind closed doors, their guard drops, and the sadness of missing you floods in without mercy or warning at all. The Five of Cups confirms that their emotional state is not indifference. It is sorrow wrapped in a mask of control. They grieve what the two of you had, and even more than that, they grieve the time they wasted staying away. Their regret is not surface level. It runs bone deep, and the Five of Cups says it shaped every single day of silence. The next card coming through is the Emperor, and this one reveals the internal structure they built to survive the distance. The Emperor represents control, discipline, and the rigid walls this person constructed to keep their emotions from overwhelming them entirely. This person forced themselves into composure, scheduling their feelings away, suppressing the urge to contact you through sheer willpower alone. They treated the no contact like a fortress, convincing themselves that maintaining it proved strength rather than fear or avoidance. What the Emperor exposes is that their silence was engineered, not natural, and maintaining it cost them far more than breaking it would. What the Emperor confirms is painful. Their controlled exterior hides a person exhausted from pretending they do not need you. Their authority over their own feelings is crumbling, and the structure they relied on is buckling under the weight of truth. They cannot maintain this rigid front much longer because their emotions are outgrowing the container they forced them into months ago. This card reveals a person at the tipping point, where discipline meets defeat, and the heart finally overrules the head. Their control was never about power, it was about fear, and the Emperor confirms that fear is losing its grip steadily. Then we have the Queen of Swords, and this card digs into the mental clarity forming beneath all that inner conflict. The Queen of Swords carries sharp perception, honest self-reflection, and the ability to see a situation without emotional distortion. This person has recently gained a brutal clarity about what they did and what it actually cost them in the end. They see the full picture now, not just their side, but yours, and that perspective hit them harder than expected. What the Queen of Swords reveals is sharp. They stopped lying to themselves about why they stayed away for so long. The excuses dissolved, the justifications crumbled, and what remained was a single, undeniable truth they can no longer run from. They need you. They miss you. And every rational argument they constructed against reaching out has been dismantled from the inside. The Queen of Swords confirms that mental fog has cleared, and what replaced it is a piercing awareness of what matters. Their inner world is a collision of regret, crumbling control, and newfound clarity, and all of it leads back to you. Every layer the cards peeled back today confirms the same thing. This person is consumed by you beneath every mask they wear.
So let us get into what this person is physically about to do, because the movement here is already in progress. They are not in the thinking phase anymore. They have crossed over into the doing phase, and there is no turning back.
A plan is being finalized behind the scenes, and the execution of it is closer than you might expect at this point. This person has picked a direction, locked onto it, and is now organizing the steps required to follow through completely. What you are about to experience from them is not vague or half hearted. It is structured and deliberate in every way. The cards are showing concrete action, real, tangible shifts, and a timeline that does not stretch far into the distance. Let us go ahead and dive into this because every card pulled here reinforces that same forward trajectory without exception. The first card we have is the Magician, and this one signals that they are actively assembling everything they need right now. The Magician represents resourcefulness, preparation, and the ability to turn raw intention into something visible and unmistakable in the real world. This person is gathering their tools, their words, their courage, and arranging all of it into a single, decisive approach. They are not leaving anything to chance this time. Every detail of their re-entry is being crafted with surgical precision. What the Magician reveals is that their next move is not spontaneous. It is calculated and designed to land with impact. They have already decided how they want to present themselves, what tone they want to set, and what outcome they seek. The Magician confirms that this person possesses every resource needed to make contact, and they are done hesitating about using them. This card shows a person who shifted from passive waiting into active construction of the bridge back toward you. This card does not appear unless manifestation is imminent, and they are channeling their return into reality with full focus. They are channeling everything they have into one clear move, and when it lands, you will recognize the effort behind it. The next card coming through is the Ten of Wands, and this one reveals the weight they are carrying into this action. The Ten of Wands speaks of burden, of shouldering a heavy load, and of pushing forward despite the pressure stacking up. This person knows that reaching out carries risk, and they feel the heaviness of that responsibility pressing on them constantly. But instead of collapsing under it, they are choosing to walk through it, absorbing the strain because the alternative is worse. What the Ten of Wands exposes is that their movement toward you is not effortless. It is costing them real energy daily. They are dragging pride, fear, and uncertainty behind them, and still choosing to keep marching in your direction regardless of cost. This card confirms that their action is born from determination, not convenience, and they are willing to carry whatever it takes. This card shows a person who would rather collapse at your doorstep than stand comfortably at a distance any longer. When they finally reach you, you will sense the weight they bore to get there, and it will speak louder than words. Nothing about their next step is passive. It is loaded with intent and fueled by a refusal to lose you permanently. Then we have the Two of Pentacles, and this card shows the final logistical adjustments being made before they make their move. The Two of Pentacles represents balancing priorities, juggling timing, and figuring out exactly when and how to approach you properly. This person is working out the practical details, the right day, the right method, the right words to open with first. They are shuffling their schedule, rearranging commitments, and clearing space for the moment they step back into your world. What the Two of Pentacles confirms is that their return is not theoretical. It is being actively coordinated in real time. They are managing reconnection logistics with the same focus they once used to maintain the distance between you. This card shows a person in motion, adjusting and recalibrating until every external piece aligns with their internal decision fully. The Two of Pentacles leaves no doubt. This person is organizing their reappearance and treating it as a top priority now. Every card in this section points to the same conclusion. This person is acting, preparing, and moving directly toward you soon.
Okay, let us go into the part they will never volunteer on their own, the confessions they buried under the silence. This person holds truths inside them that would change everything if spoken, and they know it, which is why they guard them. Their mouth has practiced restraint for so long that it became second nature, but their mind never stopped screaming your name. What they refuse to say out loud has more power, more weight than anything they have ever spoken to you directly. The unspoken sits heavy in their throat like a stone, and every swallowed sentence left a bruise they carry invisibly. They are haunted by words they almost typed, calls they almost made, and truths they almost let slip at the worst times. Let us go deeper into this, because the cards are dragging their hidden confessions into the open, whether they like it or not. So the first card here is the Four of Swords, and this one reveals what they confess only in their most private moments. The Four of Swords governs rest, withdrawal, and the quiet space where a person sits alone with their rawest admissions. This person confesses to themselves in the stillness, during sleepless hours when the noise of the day finally fades away. They lie awake, replaying your voice, your expressions, the way you made ordinary moments feel like something worth remembering forever. What the Four of Swords uncovers is that their quietest hours belong entirely to you, even when daylight pretends otherwise. They admit in the dark what they deny in the light, that losing you was the single worst outcome of their decisions. Their confession is whispered into pillows, exhaled into empty rooms, and carried through mornings that feel incomplete without your presence. The Four of Swords confirms something crucial. The silence they kept toward you was never matched by silence inside their skull. Their private world is saturated with you, and the Four of Swords validates that no amount of distance diluted that saturation. Every quiet moment became a courtroom where they tried themselves for leaving, and the verdict was always guilty without appeal. The next card coming through is the Lovers, and this one cracks open the deepest romantic confession they refuse to voice. The Lovers does not appear casually. It represents a soul-level choice, a recognition that one connection outweighs everything else available. This person has already chosen you internally, and that choice was not recent. It was sealed long before the separation began. They knew during the silence. They knew when they tried to forget, and they knew when nothing else compared to your warmth. What the Lovers exposes is a confession of exclusivity. They do not want options. They do not want alternatives. They want you. The idea of replacing you crossed their mind and was immediately rejected because their soul signed a contract it refuses to break. Their hidden truth is that they belong to you in a way they never belonged to anyone, and it terrifies them completely. What this card confirms is that their deepest unspoken word is not just desire, it is devotion beyond logic. That fantasy keeps them up at night, not because it scares them, but because they want it, more than they want safety. Then we have the Eight of Cups, and this card exposes the final confession hiding beneath everything else they have swallowed. The Eight of Cups speaks of walking away from what no longer serves and the painful awareness that comes with that clarity. This person secretly confesses something painful. The life they tried to build without you felt like a performance with no audience. They went through the motions, smiled at the right times, and filled their schedule, but none of it carried any real meaning. What the Eight of Cups reveals is telling. They already emotionally departed from every distraction they used to cope. They abandoned the substitutes one by one because each one reminded them that nothing manufactured could replicate what you gave. Their confession is simple but devastating. They tried to move on and failed, and the failure taught them where they truly belong. The Eight of Cups confirms that their hidden truth is surrender. They stopped fighting what they feel and accepted it fully inside. Every confession buried in this reading circles back to one admission: you are irreplaceable, and they know it in their bones now. The words they cannot say yet burn louder than anything the silence ever managed to contain. And these cards exposed all of it. So, let us bring this entire reading to its conclusion, because the final cards are sealing everything with undeniable clarity. The near future is not ambiguous. It is arriving with momentum, and the reunion you have been sensing is almost here. What is ahead for you both is not a slow fade back into old patterns. It is a completely different chapter opening. This person is crossing the threshold, and when they do, the dynamic between you shifts in a way you will both feel. So the first card here is the Wheel of Fortune, and this one confirms that timing is finally rotating in your favor. The Wheel of Fortune represents cycles turning, destiny aligning, and a period where what was blocked suddenly begins to flow again. The stagnation is ending, the distance is collapsing, and the universe is repositioning both of you into the same orbit. This card confirms that the near future holds a destined reconnection, one that was written into the fabric of this bond originally. The Wheel of Fortune says that external circumstances are conspiring to bring you together, whether either of you orchestrates it or not. The next card is the King of Cups, and this one reveals that their approach will carry emotional maturity and genuine depth. The King of Cups speaks of composure, emotional mastery, and a person who arrives with their heart fully open and regulated. This person will not come back scattered or uncertain. They will return grounded, present, and ready for real conversation with you. Their re-entry will feel different from past attempts because the growth they underwent during the silence reshaped how they arrive. Then we have Judgment, and this card announces a moment of reckoning, a final awakening that changes everything between you permanently. Judgment represents resurrection, accountability, and the willingness to face truth without deflection or excuse. And this person is ready for that. Together, these three cards paint a near future where destiny, maturity, and honesty converge into a single defining moment for you both. Now, the advice that these cards offer you is direct, and I need you to receive it with your full attention. Do not rehearse your response before they arrive. Let the moment breathe and unfold without the pressure of a scripted reaction. Stay grounded in your own worth, because the silence did not diminish you.
it revealed exactly how strong your foundation truly is. When they reach out, listen before you react. Absorb what they bring before deciding how much access they earn going forward. The cards are reminding you that your boundaries are not walls, they are filters, and you get to decide what passes through. Receive this reunion from a place of power, not desperation, because you held your ground, and that earns you the right to choose. Now, let us come back to the message that opened this entire reading, because every card confirmed it from start to finish. Get prepared, because this person wants to see you, wants to talk to you, and they are ending the no contact now. From the very beginning, the Page of Swords showed a message being drafted, and the Three of Wands revealed their strategic return. The Knight of Cups confirmed that their approach carries romantic sincerity, and the Ace of Cups mirrored your overflowing emotional readiness. The High Priestess validated your intuition, and the Six of Wands reflected the quiet victory of surviving the silence without hardening. The Five of Cups exposed their grief. The Emperor revealed their crumbling control, and the Queen of Swords showed their brutal clarity. The Magician confirmed active preparation. The Ten of Wands showed the weight they carry toward you, and the Two of Pentacles showed logistics. The Four of Swords uncovered their private confessions. The Lovers sealed their devotion, and the Eight of Cups confirmed their surrender. Now, the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Cups, and Judgment close this reading with destiny, maturity, and a powerful awakening. Every single card across all 6 parts pointed in one direction, and that direction has always been reunion. You are about to step into a moment that rewrites everything, everything the silence tried to erase, and these cards left no room for question. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly hope this reading gave you the confirmation and peace your heart needed. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who needs to hear